Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all for joining me on this morning. As people begin to come in, if you can just take just a moment and just share this video and tag somebody in it to let them know that I am on, I greatly appreciate you. I am Pastor Deidre Samuel McLeod. I'm the pastor of the awesome ministry, Divine Destiny Ministries, right here in Hartsville, South Carolina. I'm telling you, we are the place that you can come, that you can be different in order to make a difference. Listen, I believe in order. I believe in all my heart, my mind, and my soul. I believe in order. So don't think that you can just be different and just come and just act the fool. Nah, I'm talking about the people that feel like that I'm chosen for such a time as this. And it seemed like I can't fit in no place else, and that God is calling me to do something great. I will help push that gift out of you so that you'll be able to walk in the things that God has spoken. On this morning, I just want to share my heart. I want to share my heart about God is faithful. God is faithful. That oftentimes, as a believer, and I walk with Christ, sometimes we give the church answer. People ask us, "Are you okay?" I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. Sometimes we don't really want people to know that we have struggles, that sometimes that we get in moments of pits, that sometimes that we too have our backs up against the wall, that sometimes we question, is what we're reading is really real? Is God really going to come through for us? On this morning, I had an opportunity to minister to a few people. I'm always trying to find somebody to encourage, somebody to try to impart in. And on this morning, it got real personal. It got real personal because sometimes people that you love, it's hard to see people that you love really go through and really having a hard time and just really believing that God is faithful. And on this morning, I just wrote a quick post, just a quick nugget. And I said that all our lives, God has been faithful. And literally all our lives, God has. And so, and so sometimes it's hard to see the faithfulness of God when we're so focused on the thing that we're going through. And that sometimes we don't understand that even in the hard place, the tough place, the place of struggle, the place of pain, the place of I don't know what to do, I don't know how this right here is going to work for me. God is still He is still faithful. I shared with somebody on this morning. I said to them that for us to really see the power of God, to really know that God is Jehovah Jireh, that God is Jehovah Tiskanu, that God is Jehovah Rapha, that God is our shepherd. Sometimes God take us through moments to really show us how faithful that He is. We can testify to people all day long. We can tell people that God is faithful. We can tell people that God is a healer. We can tell people that God is a way maker. But we don't really understand the power of our words until we had to walk through it ourselves. I said to someone just on this morning, they was like, wow, I would have never known this. I said, my husband has been out of work since June, since last year, 2023, June. And they was like, wow, Pastor, I didn't know this. I said, yeah. And I said, but guess what? I have found to really have met Jehovah Jireh in these months that he's been out of work, to find that God is really a provider. And we can talk about how faithful He is, how wonderful He is, and we can talk about all of that, but it don't come real to us until we have to live the scriptures that God has given us. And I told him, I said that I got up last night. I just found myself in a place that I just really wanted to weep in his presence, that I just wanted to cry, that I wanted to pray, not because he didn't provide, but because he has. That I look around, not one car has gone back. I look around, our house notes didn't get behind. I look around, our lights are still able to come on. Our water still come on. We're still able to provide even the simple things for our children. That we are still got food, that we still have food on our table. We still have clothes on our backs. That we're still able. Why? Because God is faithful. And that even though there are some things that I could complain about, still there are some things that I had to really get in the face of God and be like, come on, God, now. Come on. Come on. As a matter of fact, I got in my car on yesterday and I started riding around, and that's what I started saying to him. Come on, God, now. Because you're my father. Come on, God. You're my father. And because you're my father, you don't ever stop providing. You're a good, good father. And even if Ronnie Samuel, my earthly father, can provide, even if Ronnie Samuel knew to get up and go to work and provide for us, come on, Daddy. Come on, Father. I need, you already know what I need, but because you want to hear my voice, I speak to you because I know that you're faithful. And if my earthly father knew to be faithful, and if my earthly father know to provide, there's no doubt in my mind that you're just that good, good father, that you're still going to provide, that you're still going to make a way. So I want to speak to somebody on this morning and just remind you that he's faithful, Veronica. He's faithful. He's faithful, Minister B. He's faithful, Sister Magnolia. He's faithful, Deacon Elect. He's faithful. He's faithful, Sister Tanya. And that even during times that all of us have looked around and be like, you get that in your voice, like, okay, God, like God, what you out here doing? God, have you forgotten about me? God, I know that I'm a tither. God, and when you know that you do right by God, listen, when you know that you do right by God, I don't care what plot that the enemy have come with. Nothing. No, I don't care what he's sitting around plotting to do. I don't care what he sat around and talked about me about. I don't care. I don't care how it looks. I know that God is faithful. So I want to say to you, Sister Tanya, that he's faithful, Sister Buffy. He's faithful, Sister Lacey. He's faithful. And even though, sometimes you have to give your own self pep talks. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you got to hit yourself in the chest with the word and say, God, the earth is yours and the fullness thereof. You own the whole world and everybody that's in the world. That God, that you told me that you was wounded for my transgressions. You was bruised for my iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was laid upon you. And with your stripes, God, you made me heal. That sometimes we gotta get back in his face. God, you're faithful. God, if you was able to tell Moses, to tell Pharaoh to let your people go, and when Moses was saying, God, who should I say sent me? God said, tell them that I am sent you. Why? Because God is saying you can't put me in a box. And that even though that you might feel like you're at the Red Sea and like, God, Pharaoh and them boys, they behind me. And God, I don't have no place else to go. But I know that you told me to step out on a word. And so I'm out here off of a word, God. And the word that you gave me was to go. And so I'm out here, God. And God, right now, it don't seem like I'm able to move forward. And God knows I know that I can't go back. But God, I know one thing, that you're faithful. And because you're faithful, you ain't never failed me before. And guess what? You won't fail me. You won't fail me now. So I prophesy to everybody that's on here that have gotten in the moment or have gotten in a place to say, okay, God, like, okay, God, what you doing? What, God, you got me out here. God, come on now. Come on, God. Because I know that I have not been the only one. But one thing that I do know, that he's faithful. And he has never failed. I'm not even putting yet at the end, because yet means that I'm expecting him to. Never failed. Never. And if he didn't fail us before, he's not about to start now. If he's never failed us before, he's not about to start now. He is faithful. He is faithful. As a matter of fact, in my workout time on this morning, in my time that I sat around and I just talked to him, the time that sometimes you can't even say nothing. You just let the tears roll down your face. Why? Because he's supreme in interpretation. Even when you don't know what to say, he know how to interpret your tears. Come on, Sister Nala. Come on. God, he knows how to interpret your tears, Minister B. Thank you for sharing that testimony on yesterday. He knows what my tears are saying, even when my lips don't know how to formulate the words. That's the kind of God that we serve, and that I feel good. And I want to remind somebody on this morning that he has never failed, and he's not about to start with you. He's not about to start with you. There's so many people that lived before us. He didn't fail them. There's so many people that's living now with us. And listen, I'm about to holler too. I'm about to holler too. And just trying to keep my composure. But one thing that I do know, that he don't fail. He don't. He don't. He don't fail. He don't fail. He don't fail. He's a good, good father. He's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful. Trying to keep it in English, but he's faithful. He's faithful. I see. He's faithful. And I'm grateful to know a good father. That he's not a deadbeat dad. He's not a deadbeat dad. He's not a deadbeat. Sometimes I remind myself that, my oldest son, he's not biologically my husband's child, but he's my husband's child. For real, he is. And he'll go to war. He'll go to war about them. As a matter of fact, he'll go to war about all of them. But I think about naturally having him with with his dad, and how times that I needed him the most, he wasn't there. Times that I wanted him to show up and just encourage Trey, just to hug him because he needed him. Just to send a couple of dollars. And he didn't. Um, but I think about how God, that even on this morning, I said, God, you never did us like that. You faithful. You faithful. You faithful. I just thank him for the little things, Tom, the small things that I said that to him. You're not a deadbeat dad. You didn't walk away from us. You never turned your back on us, God. And that even when it didn't make sense to me, yeah, even when we didn't think that we deserved it, that he showed his faithfulness. I wasn't even expecting a blessing on this morning, and just out of nowhere, he just reminded me that he's faithful. I looked in an unexpected place, and here come God just showing that he's faithful, because he's just that kind of God that I know that sometimes that people in general, that we get in places that we doubt, that sometimes that we be like, God, I'm trying all I can. I was listening to Marvin Winans on this morning and singing the song. Oh my God, I love to hear my husband sing this song. Stand. But Marvin Winans was singing the song on this morning. After you have done all to stand, to stand. And I just played it over and over and over again. After you've done all. I pray that this is speaking to somebody, that even though I needed it, but I want to speak something into somebody's spirit, that after you've done all, he's a good father. He's a good father. Yeah, he's so faithful. He's so consistent. He's so kind, and he loved me. And God knows. I know that. I know that people get in their places and they talk or whatever. I'm past that. Whether you believe that I'm real or whether you don't, I know I love him, and I know one thing, that he loves me. He loves me. And even if you question whether I love you sometimes, don't ever question how much I love God, and that God loves me, and that he loves you too. And even though it might not make sense to you today, even though you might not see the way out today, I dare you just to trust him. Trust him. Trust him. Because he's faithful. He's faithful, Veronica. He's faithful. He's faithful. Yeah, he's faithful. He's faithful. And he won't fail you. He won't fail you. I didn't mean for it to go like this, but God knew exactly what we needed. So join me in this faith walk. Join me in this faith walk as we continue to walk and believe and trust God and know that God is able. He's faithful. He won't turn his back on you. He's not about to start now. He's not about to start now. I love you guys. I love you for real, for real. If you know somebody needed a pep talk, if they needed just somebody to hold their head up, send this to them and let them know that God is faithful. I got blessed on this morning, even with my ministry. I saw on Instagram, it reminded me that within these last 30 days, over 1,000 people started looking at my content for ministry. And that blessed me. That over 1,000 more people recognize God in me to say, I want to follow what God has placed on the inside of her. Yeah. I was like, come on, come on. God, you know how to really encourage your sister. You really know how to encourage your sister. So I'm telling you, even though it might not seem like what you're doing matters, it matters. Keep doing. Hey, if you don't have nothing at all but $2, I want you to take the time to sow something into my ministry on today. We're doing something big. We're trying to serve Big God, capital G-O-D. And I know that if we continue to serve him, if we continue to be faithful, that God will continue to be faithful to us. Don't give up on God, because he won't give up on you. I love you guys. Have an awesome and wonderful day. And to God be all of the glory. Join us back on this afternoon. The power in service on Sunday, God showed completely out. I couldn't preach Sunday. But I'm going to try my best to teach the word on tonight. You don't know the cost of my oil. If you're not doing anything, and don't have nowhere to go, join me on tonight at 6 p.m. on 117 Darlington Avenue. Let me tell you something. We're going all the way in. I'm already on 10. I love you guys. Have an awesome and wonderful day. And remember, God is faithful.